Hello everyone, welcome to this unit called Introduction to AutoCAD for short. The long name you can see there on top of the screen, produce 2D drawings for building design projects using CAD software with the unit number there, CPPBDN2017A. This class will be taken by both myself, Andreas Vasiliou, you can see there my email address and my mobile number, as well as Robin Rudd and her email address there as well. You're seeing we have recorded the actual class yesterday. Mainly that was taken by Robin Rudd, and I sort of filled in some gaps there, but unfortunately, that recording didn't work, so I'm getting to do this today separately. So I'm just going to run through as much as possible what Robin ran through yesterday. Of the WHS part of it, we never record anyway. It's only if you're there you get that. But the rest I'll run through right now. So basically, that's something that she didn't run through. It's something that I do for my classes usually. So just having to do my intro page here. So I might as well show it to you. There's a Facebook group that I run myself. I set it up years ago, and it's called the BIM Collaboration Experience. I know AutoCAD doesn't really fit into that, but other software that you might be studying down the track, such as Revit, do fit into that category. And also I use that as a bit of an area where I advertise jobs or events that might come up that are free, that you can go for networking and that sort of thing, where you can see other graduates as well, and perhaps they can give you their insight as to what happens after TAFE. But and there's also an equivalent part there called, the same thing, the BIM collaboration experience under LinkedIn. It's not as used as much, but I do encourage you to get onto LinkedIn, especially towards the end of your course, where you want to have a presence in the social media world, in the professional social media world, which I suppose Facebook is not really. So yeah, LinkedIn is also a good area to get some more knowledge as well, and read what other people are writing, and hear about other events and things like that. So WHS has sort of been covered earlier, and it's basically about how to get out in case of a fire. We also covered, where first aid is, and especially the information desk just down in the campus of Tonsley. But security numbers for Tonsley are here, and the first aid numbers are there for security for Tonsley as well. It doesn't really matter if you don't really need that if you're external student, but maybe at some stage you will be on site anyway. We will show you. You would have got an email anyway with us introducing you to how to get to the software. So that would try and run through soon as well with you. But we are using AutoCAD, not Revit or Navisworks here in this subject. So we'll show you where to get that from. Although you already got that information by email. If you haven't, let us know. We'll run through the subject outline and what is expected, and what you need to hand up and when soon. So we'll run through the subject outline soon. Go through the sort of activities that you'll be needed to do, and they are they might be called by different names and different subjects, but it's basically a project in this subject, and there is no exam for this one. So we'll go through the session plan. That will also show you where and when things are due. Location of recorded lectures. I'll show you where that is on the Moodle in this case, or the Learn site as we call it. And you submit via the Learn site. So that's how you submit. And we'll run through file naming. Generally, your procedure document will tell you what we should call it, but yeah, generally stick your name on there somewhere, first name and second name. Otherwise, we'll end up with 20 or 25 projects called Project 1 or something like that. It's pretty generic, and we could lose yours amongst the others. When emailing for any reason to us, you generally don't submit in the subject by email, but if you email for any questions or anything like that, always a good idea to add the subject line. I know it's very basic, but subject line should be included in your email, and also in the body of it, write something in the body of the email, or just send the file and just the subject line. Write a little more about it. What is it that you're actually wanting us to have a look at the file for? Just give us some hints. I suppose it is always helpful. And leave your name down the bottom of the in the signature area, because sometimes the email addresses don't actually have your name listed in there. Some people just have the email address, and the email address doesn't even include their name. So it's hard for me to know who you are. Generally people do put in their ID number, student ID number. That doesn't really help me very quickly, because I have to go and look up, the ID number to work out who you are. Best put your name there and your mobile number if you have one, so that I can be in touch with you. If it's easier to explain via phone, I would generally SMS you first, just to let you know I'm about to call you, and if that's okay. And also, if there's no time to do that, I'll just ring you and I'll say, is it okay to talk now? Having said that, up here with my phone number there, just do prefer SMS, and I am on other applications as well, like WhatsApp, Viber, and WeChat. So feel free to be in touch with me via those apps as well. All right, so now you've got our contacts here. I will go through through the Learn site and just see what we need to do there. Just see if we can minimize this. It's not actually happening. Okay, here we go. So Learn site through here. I'll just sign in and see if we can find this subject. Generally, we have given you the key for this. If you haven't got the key for it, please email and let us know. That you should have got that through some sort of an email by now. And it does change from term to term, so don't use one if you have one from someone from last semester. That doesn't help. Okay, so this is me on my dashboard. I'm just a little big here. So I'll go to my courses. Generally, you would have been enrolled in this course already, so that should come up here. If you haven't been, it's best to search for it. Probably the best way to search is through here. So you put in the CPPBDN2017A and go search, and it'll come up in here. So you just click it, and at that stage it will ask you for the key, and that's what we gave you earlier. So once you put the key in, you just sort of have to tick another couple of boxes and to agree to certain things, and then in you go. You're in the course here, and this is basically what you see. Best place to start is start here, obviously. So just click here for a minute, see what we got. So starting here, we've got a big note here about the students. Note, you're entitled to one resubmission per assignment, and only one. If you don't meet the criteria level of competency on your first submission, you will be granted a resubmit. So you only get one resubmission, as we said. If you do not meet the required level of competency after this, you will not be granted any further submissions. So it's there for you, loud and clear. Before you start, the unit descriptor and learning schedule. So the unit descriptor is actually this one here. Learning schedule is this one here. So back to front there, but this is the unit descriptor, straight out of training.gov.au. So this is basically what we are here aiming for you, and to do for you to become competent in these areas that I described here. So do take a minute to have a read of that. Setting up your basic drawing environment. We'll go through layering, architectural libraries, text and dimensions, line types, hatching, all of that, title blocks, reference schedules, all that will be covered. So this is the subject that you'll be doing, and it goes on and on. Printing, saving, backing up, exporting files, and so on. So pretty full on for 2 hours per week. We do generally allow you enough time to get everything done within those hours, including your projects, but you might have to do a bit of time, a bit of practice out of hours as well, if you're not keeping up, which is not unusual sometimes as well. So the more you practice, the better. Basically, the better you become in anything. So this is the unit descriptor. I won't dwell on this too much. It just goes on a fair bit here. All right, so I'll go back to this and let's look at the learning schedule. This is our learning schedule. It is actually a little dynamic at this point because we might have to adjust it a little bit as we go along, depending how quickly we move on through the course and that sort of thing. But generally, this is it, and it's got session by session, and it's got the date next to it, like session 1, 18th of the 2nd, and so on. That was this session, and then the next session next week will be this one here. So basically, what we'll be doing is introducing you to the user interface. Obviously, you're logged onto your computers already, especially if you're doing it from home. So we've done the induction and accessing the portal, which is what we're on now. You sign on with your single sign-on via your email address and your password. And there is an ABS orientation learn site as well, so search for that if you haven't done so already. Office 365, mail, and other applications. With your TAFE enrollment, you do get all the Office 365 applications as well, and they are, via the internet available for you. So such as email, OneDrive, and that sort of thing. OneDrive is great to have a second or third backup of your files that you work on at TAFE. Bear in mind, there's not much room, especially if you're doing other subjects like Revit, but AutoCAD is not too bad, depending what you've got in there already. You only allow 50 megabytes, which is not a lot to save your files in. So always bring in a USB or something like that to save files on, because that I suggest you have 3 backups, like one off site, which might be either in your car or at home, or on the cloud, like such as OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, that sort of thing. One perhaps saved at TAFE, and one like a USB or a removable hard drive where you just use that all the time to save on, perhaps from class to class, have all your files on there. So that's just an idea there. We'll discuss educational software soon, and how to access class recordings. Okay, so that's our first week's job, and then we'll hopefully do a bit of practice exercise as well. At least introduce you to the user interface. So, I just clicked over the wrong thing. So let's go over here. Extensions, that's another important thing. Yes, extensions. This applies to all students, both internal and external. So, extensions may be granted, but no later than 1 week before the due date, and only when an application for the extension form has been submitted in writing. Applications for extension forms are available below. Important note, if you do not submit your work by the due date and you have not submitted an application for an extension to your lecturer, your final grade may be recorded as W for withdrawal. If this occurs, you will be required to enroll into the unit again next semester and repay to complete it. So this is the form here. Click on the image to download. So this is what you've got to fill in. It's got to be a valid reason, so medical certificates, that sort of thing, should be accompanied. And what else? Acceptable reasons for an extension. List some here. Medical certificate, that sort of thing that has all the information on there. And then compassionate grounds will be this, like a death or serious illness in the family. And the following reasons are not grounds for extension. It says computer or internet problems, holiday arrangements, misreading the assignment due date, unexpected events causing the loss of a few hours of study, that sort of thing. So read all that, and we'll go from there. So that's that. I just wanted to show you that. I just want to go back to the start here. So this is the, oops, that's the grid. No, one more. Let's just go up here. There. So I'll just go back to the beginning. And then software for home. So we've got, you guys can actually, well, you can all just get software. This particular document would have been sent to you via email of how to get software, because you can actually get that for free through Autodesk, or the people that make AutoCAD, they make Revit as well, and other software you might have heard about, like Inventor and that sort of thing. Navisworks. Okay, so they do many software, 3D Studio Max. That's just some software I can think of the top of my head. So this particular document has been written so you can access mainly Revit, but it applies to all the software. It's just the general procedure is the same. You just have to pick the right software to download. And so that's this is where you go to download it, but this is actually the document explaining how to do it, how to set up an account to start with to be able to download. It's totally free, as I said, but you're not allowed to use it to make any money or do any proper work on it for payment. It's only to study and to do your projects. It is a 3-year account, and it will expire after 3 years. But you can get a new one each year anyway, because if you're a TAFE for 2 or 3 years, we tend to use the latest version each year, so you need to upgrade to what we're using anyway. It's not so bad if you're using AutoCAD, because AutoCAD can save backwards, but generally get the software we use. Revit doesn't save backwards, so if you've got the latest version which we don't have on our laptops, then we can't, for example, mark your work. It doesn't apply to this though. So in this year, we'll be looking at version 2019 of the software. Let's have a look. So that have a look at it in detail, because it explains to you how to go and create an account there, and what information to put in here. It does accept your personal email address as well. As you can see there, Russell has put in his personal one, and password there. And so you get a verification email. You have to go through that, and then you go to the software tab, and then you look for AutoCAD or Revit, depending what you want. You can see all these other ones I got there. Then you have to sign in again. Then you put it in again. I don't know why you have to do it twice. It's just a bit weird. But yeah, note, record your Autodesk ID, email address, and password, because you may need it during software activation once the software is installed and run for the first time. So do keep it, because down the track, as I said, like next year you want to download new software. You don't want to be having to reset your password and that sort of thing. So just keep it somewhere safe. Now. Jump one more step, just one more step, sorry. Put in TAFE SA, Tonsley, South Australia as the name of your education institution, and you can tick this is the area that applies to us. And putting your enrollment date from February to December. Next, and off you go, continue, and that sort of thing. So The other thing is, yeah, once you do that, you select the software you want. Just substitute Revit for AutoCAD, and be careful with AutoCAD because it's got a number of different flavors. You just want plain AutoCAD, so AutoCAD English. I think that said that at the top here, or just AutoCAD. There you go. So don't go AutoCAD Civil 3D or AutoCAD Map or Mechanical or Electrical. Just get unless you do need those, but we don't need it for this subject. Get that one that you need. It immediately to give you the serial number and the product key. That's the file size for that particular one. And then you go on and download. Just before you install the software, make sure that your language in the Windows, like Windows 10, make sure that your language preference default is actually set to English, no other one like US or South Africa or anything like that, because if that's the case, it'll not give you the correct libraries. I'll just check what mine is set at for a minute. I'll just type in the search here, language, see what mine is set at. Region and language settings, that's the one we're looking for. Let's see, languages. So we've got country is important to be Australia, and I've got English with brackets Australia. All right, so that's the one you want to be on top. Or, you know, for example, I also have Greek on here. Yes, I can type in Greek and speak Greek. So I've got that, but you also need to have this as your default. Otherwise, it won't give you the Australian version of the libraries templates. You end up probably getting, you know, depending what. I mean, we've got. What languages do we have here? I'll just make out, I'm going to add one. So in the English world, where are we? Okay, where's English? There's one in English. Okay. Yeah, English is here, and but because we set the country to Australia, it ends up. Where is it? We lost it now. Sorry. Where is it gone? Search again. Language, something or other. Region and language settings. So yeah, Australia, because I did that, it's got English Australia in the brackets. That's the one you want. It's very important. Okay, so let's minimize that, close that, minimize that, and go back to this thing here. All right, where else? Do not share these numbers. Yeah, the serial numbers that you might get, do not share with anyone else because it's only for you. And from memory, you can put it on like a computer and another device as well, or even possibly 3 devices. I'm not sure if that says that somewhere, but it will say, oh, you can go, install up to 2 personal devices, it says there. Okay, so you get 2 places to put it in. All right, part 3, downloading, installing the software. Then you go install, and then if you go the arrow down, you go download now. Download the whole file is best, because that way, hopefully, you won't get as many glitches in it, rather than installing on the fly. So yeah, that's it there. AutoCAD here has got more information about it. The same thing about AutoCAD really, as I was saying, just applies to AutoCAD as well. Just read this carefully. Some downloading issues. What if I can't download this software from the software site? If you don't have fast and reliable internet to download it, there is an alternative. The Revit installation file is TAFE. Say, well, we also probably got the AutoCAD one as well here. So let us know. You can just copy it on the USB, but prefer to bring in a large external hard drive is probably better, because that way I found in the past that installing from a little thumb drive, it asks you for some reason to put in another the previous version's disk, which we don't have. But you can get around that by copying the actual file from the 8 GB thumb drive onto your C drive and then install it from there. Then that works. But if you had a big external hard disk, you can just install it straight from there without recopying it anywhere, which saves a bit of space on your C drive as well. All right, so that's that. System requirements. Yeah, you can go to these links and find out if your computer is compatible with the software. If you do need to know anything about computers, just ask us, and we'll see if we can help you. If you need to buy a new one, we'll see if we can help you out as to what type to buy, that sort of thing. And here's the thing about the language here. That's what it should look like. There, that, yeah, and then you just click install. That's for the Revit, accept, whatever. For AutoCAD, it's a bit different. You get these sort of things here. So this is the procedure you have to run for AutoCAD. All right, so that wraps that up. Go back to here and back to right here. And then we move on to learning resources. We've got a learning resource which is basically an AutoCAD book that is from a company called Ascent that actually printed out their authorized Autodesk publishers. But there are a variety of books you can actually get about AutoCAD. So just about any book, even AutoCAD for Dummies is good enough, eh? But this one here, we do have the somewhere. We do have the download of the first chapter, which I think is actually been put in the next grid. You don't have to have it. It's just additional reference if you need to read more perhaps, but we will run you through step by step everything you need to know to complete this unit without having to buy this book. So don't worry too much about that if you don't want to buy it. So the other thing is, this is not quite the way you might look at it. I just set myself up as what students look like. Let me just give that a go, because some things might be not there for you guys at this point. So instead to student look, let's see. So yeah, that's what it should look like. Depending if you're zoomed in, it probably look a bit different. I don't know. Yeah, there you go, zoomed in or zoomed out. So AutoCAD interface is what we're moving up to next. And in that AutoCAD interface, this is what it looks like. And there is that, it's an intro video you can look at your own time. But there is a sample chapter from the previous grid that I was looking for before. And this is what it looks like when it downloads. So this is a free download that comes as a sample chapter, just so you can see what the headings are before you buy the book. So have a look through that. Generally, it covers most of these topics here, but not all of them. Okay, so I don't believe all of them. We'll touch on most actually. Yeah, so this is it. What else is here? So there are some practice files that basically they've got to do with zooming. Where is it? If I move down here, they've got to do with exercises that they get you to do for zooming and that sort of thing in the interface, AutoCAD interface. We'll get to them eventually. It is handy to have as a reference, because especially here, I'm going to go through all these things here. All these things are called. So number one is called application menu. Number two is the crosshair and prompts. Depending if you've got a thing called dynamic input on, which is down at number 9, it will look like that. Then moving on to the drawing window, which is used to also be called in here, used to also be called the graphics area. Quick access toolbar, which is up the top here. Number 5 here, number 5 is a ribbon, I would say. And then we've got the panels, so number 5. is the red one, yes. Info Center is number 6. We'll run through all that. What else have we got? Tooltips that come up when you hang around a particular command. The command line is very important. This is this thing here down the bottom of AutoCAD. And the status bar is also important, which is this thing. Navigation bar, and there's the view cube as well, which I'll show it in here. And the file tabs are also pretty new to this. And then it goes into some sort of an exercise, and that's what those other files here are for. If you're referring to an exercise, you can open it up and run through these files here as required. So let me just go back. Well, I'll leave that there because if I go back here, the next thing is to show you the practice exercises. Is there anything in here? Yes, there is. So we do have the practice exercises that we're going to start with, which the first one is to basically teach you how to draw lines and that sort of thing. It does say coordinates and layers, but it's more about teaching you how to use the basic commands. It will teach you that as well, but we find that it's simpler to just show you the basics at first, and the layers we're sort of going to cover as part of our exercise, as part of our project anyway. So we try and keep it simple as possible to start with. Feel free to run. Obviously, we're going to run through very quick demonstrations for the next lot of commands, and like this one's here, for example, next few weeks. And then we're going to let you run through in your own time. Well, not your own time, just at your own pace. These documents in more detail. I have to give you a little heads up first. Right, so these are all the documents we have to go through to learn the basics of AutoCAD before we can actually do our project. And for that reason, our project is not even up there yet. We found that we've been told it's a little daunting to see it first up. So we'll give it to you bit by bit. Say, for example, floor plan might come up next. Basically, you have to do a floor plan, elevations, sections, that sort of thing. A full set of working drawings as you would give to the council for approval, or your client, or the builder to cost the job from. So it's a full set of drawings for just a house, basically. So it'll be a great project to do because you just sort of will learn a fair bit about how to go about it. It's not about just knowing how to use the line command, for example. It's the technique. When do I use a line command? When do I use the offset command? That sort of thing. Do I trim? Do I fillet? That's those sort of things. So they're the practice exercises and the class. As I said, the project will be in here somewhere, but we haven't actually released it yet. And the recordings, such as this one, will end up somewhere in here. Hasn't been done yet, of course, because I'm doing it right now. So that's that. All right, so we'll move into AutoCAD. How do you fire up AutoCAD? Well, there's a couple of different ways. You can just click the search here and type in AutoCAD after you've installed it, of course, at home or at TAFE. I've got a couple of different ones. So this is the one we want, the 2019 version. And if you do have the 2018 version, that's fine. You can keep it there. And you can even work with it really, but we do prefer to use the same one as we do because then it looks all the same. Yeah, 2019 is what I want, so I'll click on that. Or the other way would be to go down to your start here, Windows, and then search for this here, AutoCAD 2019, and then you got AutoCAD 2019 English. So that's how you fire up your AutoCAD. So I'll leave it here for this recording, and then I'll start a new one showing you the interface.